You're very welcome back. Now, our next guest is one of Ireland's top creatives who turned a 7-minute Eurovision dance performance into a global phenomenon that was Riverdance.
Now, since lockdown, he's been cocooning, but managed to take time out of his schedule to create a new podcast series, adding this to his never-ending list of credentials.
Yes, producer and director John McColgan joins us in studio now. Good morning to you, John. You're very welcome back.
Good morning. I'm thrilled to be here, or as Gay used to say, I'm thrilled to be anywhere.
Anywhere.
It's good to be out. It's good to be in the studio. I've done some interviews, on radio and one on television. It's very disconnected when you're not in the space. And here we are with our socially distancing.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Carefully placed.
Better to have us in the studio.
Oh, absolutely. How has it been for you, John, in terms of the lockdown? Because, first of all, let's talk about work.
Yeah.
Because you were at one of the now epicenters of it when this all happened. You were in New York City.
We were in Radio City Music Hall with the 25th anniversary show, which had played or began in the Three Arena exactly when it was the point 25 years after, and we had an amazing night. Then we had two companies, one to tour North America and one to tour the UK. And the bookings had been stronger than they ever were. We were running before we started touring at 78%, which is phenomenal. That wasn't like that since the early days. Anyway, we were very excited about it. We're in Radio City. We got a fantastic reaction, and on one of the nights we had UN ambassadors, 190 from around the world, and we staged a performance for them, spoke about them from the stage, as did Gene Butler, and we were part of a support from the entertainment community, and Bono and U2 did it, for Ireland to achieve the seat on the UN, and they did. So we played a small part in that. Anyway, we had 8 sold-out shows in Radio City Music Hall, and we were nervous. We knew something, we didn't know when or what, but I was going back to the promoter backstage on the 3rd show, and I said, "What do you think?" He said, "This is your last show in Radio City."
Wow.
And the rest of it was sold out. So I had to go and tell the cast, so there was lots of tears, and everybody knew it was nobody's fault. And then the worry was, would anybody get it? And 6 of our dancers got the COVID when they came back.
Because not only was it your last show on Radio City,
it was the last show in the UK. Yeah, the tour was gone.
Everything was stopped.
We were booked solid up to June of this year, and booked solid up to June in the UK. And we'd worked really hard on polishing the show, getting the best dancers and drilling them. So the show was on fire. But in any event, some of our dancers got it, but because they're young and fit, it knocked them out for a couple of weeks, but they're back at work. And 3 of our dancers that were dancing in Radio City came back to do that show are now doctors. And Dr. Maria Buffini, and so she got the COVID, but so 3 of our ladies are now doctors.
Wow.
And there's a video online that you may or may not have seen about dancers from around the world.
That's right. It's an incredible piece.
It's a great piece, isn't
So
it?
powerful.
Yeah.
So powerful.
And they all did that themselves in their own place, with their own camera, and some of them were really creative. And I admire them so much.
They are an incredible breed.
They're fantastic.
And we've seen so much of that creativity. We played that piece on the show, actually, during lockdown. So you've been doing okay. The family are doing okay, John?
Everybody's well. Nobody in my immediate circle has got COVID, thank God. When I finished in New York, I came home the next day, but I was kind of burnt out anyway. So when I came home, I was exhausted. And for the first 2 weeks of lockdown, I took it as a kind of a rest. There was no pressure. There was nothing you could do. You couldn't go out. And I was lucky to be in a lovely location, so I enjoyed it. Then I was looking at our kids who were doing very creative things during lockdown themselves. They were teaching drawing, teaching dancing, and some of them were working in supermarkets, and they were posting all these amazing posts. And I thought, God, here I am now, and I'm going to be here at least for a couple of months. So I thought I would do a podcast. I'd been working with Mike Murphy and Senior Times, and Mike had interviewed Dennis O'Brien, the president, and me, and he was doing these as podcasts. And I thought, that's an idea. And I always wanted to be, well, maybe a DJ is the wrong word, but I love music. I love playing music. I love talking about music, and I love talking about my life in music. So that's what they're called, My Tunes. 2 of them are up now on Senior Times website and on Spotify. So you put in John McColgan, My Tunes, and you listen to my mellifluous voice.
Listen to that voice. He goes right into character. But John, lots of viewers won't have realised, I certainly didn't, that you were running nightclubs around Dublin at 16 years of age.
I was indeed. My little enterprise was called the Blue Diamond Club. Very fancy title for a very
swanky,
small operation. But it was me and my sisters did the cloakroom and the minerals. And I was running around from 4 or 5. They were mainly tennis clubs, Charleville, Glasnevin, Green Lounge, Unidare and Finglas. So I had a heap of 45s, a twin turntable, a microphone,
and off you went.
2 speakers and 2 flashing lights.
And you know, it's incredible. I was watching recently, John, speaking of Mike Murphy, they reran some of Mike's
they're
gags.
so good.
And of course, you feature very heavily because you directed an awful lot of them.
I did.
And you feature in probably the most famous one.
Yeah.
When he got Gabo in Trinity College.
I did. And if you look very carefully the next time you see it, as you inevitably will, I'm in it. There's a fella with black hair and a long Humphrey trench coat walking in and out, and that's
Do a
me.
cameo.
Yeah. But even watching that, John, seeing Seamus Deasy shot it, who's gone on to have such an incredible career as a cinematographer. It's incredible to think that was groundbreaking at the time, that show.
It was sort of ahead of its time now. There's an awful lot of it, but it was good. Mike was great at it. Some of the times I liked it, and some of the times I didn't. I was cringing.
It was cringy. But it was the right side of cringy, I would say.
Yeah, but just you're kind of you have to get the permission after you catch them.
Yeah.
The big thing is catch them, make a fool of them, and then get them, and then tell them it's wonderful and they were fabulous and they look great on the telly. We did one poor man, and Mike was asking him directions to the Eiffel Tower. And he had a cowboy hat on, and your man was saying, "Now, son, listen to me here. Listen, now, I'm telling you, I want to help you out, but I can't direct you to the... You're in Dublin." And Mike is going, "No, I'm in Paris." No. So it went on like this, and your man was great, and he was... So we put it out, and the poor man then wrote to us. He said he got so much slagging, teasing, that he could hardly go out of the house. He couldn't go into his local, because, "Well, you fucking idiot."
He got a lot of slagging. And of course, we apologise for any language you may have heard there. John, we'll tee up where we can listen to your new podcast series.
Okay.
It's great to see you. Give our love to all the family, and we'll see you again.
John, before we run out of time, you better do your shout-out for your granddaughter.
Oh, yes.
I wanted to say hello to Lola.
Into camera one.
Lola, if you're watching this, my darling granddaughter, I love you. We're going to lunch later. Best girl in the whole world.
There you are now. Thank you, John. Good to see you.
Oh, there she is.
There she is. Look at her little dote.
So cute.
Well, listen, don't forget, John's podcast series, My Tunes, is available now on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes, indeed. Now, but next, the best of what's on the box this week in our full telly preview. See you back here in a few.